India is today celebrating Mirza Ghalib's 220th birth anniversary. It's not just Urdu walas who are celebrating Ghalib's poetry, but it's being celebrated all over, cutting across all languages. Google has done a doodle on Ghalib, which is, I'm told, more popular than Salman Khan's birthday being celebrated today. To understand Ghalib, we have invited Rakhshanda Jalil, a prominent Urdu critic and writer in English and Urdu as well, to understand why Ghalib is so relevant in 21st century. Yes, that is my basic question, Rakhshanda. Why is Ghalib being celebrated so widely, and so is he still being so popular in this century while he was a poet of a 19th century Urdu language?
I think the answer lies in Ghalib's own oeuvre. It is extremely vast, so vast and so varied that there is something for everybody, of every age, every social class, every situation.
Like
बाजी चाय अतफाल है दुनिया मेरे आगे होता है शबो रोज तमाशा मेरे आगे. So here's a man saying that the world is like a children's playground for me, and every day the things that happen before me are like the everyday playthings, you see. So here is somebody who is making,
it is something which was relevant in 19th century and very relevant even today. So there's always, he's making common cause with a whole lot of things. The other reason I think is also because Ghalib's literature stands the test of time. What is good literature? We've always been told that good literature is that which rises above its time and circumstance, and it speaks to you. It speaks to you across time, and that is what Ghalib is doing. Once again, would you illustrate it from his book?
Take the case of love. Do you think love, like equality, like fraternity, like justice, is something that changes with time? Surely not. Love is an immutable thing, and it remains the same.
How do Ghalib express it?
If Ghalib is saying, "Ishq se tabiyat ne zeest ka maza paya,"
ishq se tabiyat ne zeest ka maza paya.
Love has taught us, given us the taste of defeat, zeest. Dard ki dawa pai, dard be dawa pai. It's through love you find the cure for love, and you find love to be without a cure. Now tell me, is it something that is located in a time and place? Is it something that is topical? Is it something that is dated? Is this thought, sentiment something that comes with a shelf life? Surely not.
Yes.
So the fact that he says these things which have no shelf life.
A lot of Ghalib critics say that he is also cerebral. How do you find it in his poetry?
Well, cerebral, yes, in a sense. There are large parts of Ghalib which are very metaphysical, which are very Sufi, but then there are large parts of things which are very easy to understand. So in a oeuvre that is that vast, Ghalib was very prolific, let's not forget.
Oh yeah, very prolific.
He has left behind a huge collected works, and there is an equal number, if slightly lesser number, of share which are not part of the collected work, which are outside,
and so many involved. I think not less than 2 volumes of letters.
Letters. So
yeah.
he's
very popular ones, and
they give you a window. They open a window into that time. So they talk about his love for mangoes. They talk about people. There are
in his letters. Yeah.
The weather, all kinds of things. They're lovely pen sketches of the people of his times. So Ghalib opens a window into his world, into his time. Ghalib also is a political person. You see,
he rises. What I was wondering, he rises above times in the sense that he had lived simultaneously between the two civilizations. One, the feudal civilization of Mughals, and the rising British Industrial Revolution. Had he been able to look through these two civilizations?
Yes, I think there is. He's negotiating with both colonialism and with the modernity that is still taking shape. He has written a document called a long poem called Dastambu, and Dastambu is written shortly after 1857, and that is a document which teaches you to negotiate with the master, and it is from the same pen you have something else coming out, which is Chaliye ab aisi jagah. Which was written by the story behind this ghazal is that the Nawab of Farrukhabad and others who were sort of seen as instigators of the riot riots and the rioting
during 1857.
During 1857 were sent on an abandoned island.
Oh.
And they were asked to live there. And that incident inspires this ghazal.
चलिए अब चलकर ऐसी जहाँ जहाँ कोई न हो.
So that is the inspiration, but it is couched in a language that makes it for everyone. So Ghalib is writing, and I think that is the test of a truly great writer.
You mentioned somewhere about his trip to Calcutta, which was is being said that it changed Ghalib a lot. In what sense? And
in 1827 November, he sets off on a journey to retrieve his pension. Now Ghalib is legally on a very weak wicket here because he's not entitled to a larger pension than he's already deserving.
But he goes
Ghalib is convinced that he should get more money than he is getting. So to get that pension reinstated, he sets off on a journey. It's a different matter. He comes back empty-handed, and he continues to get the pension that he's been getting all along. And the pension is a hereditary pension which comes to him from his grandfather, his dada, who had rendered services to the British. But that is not the point. The point is that the journey opens his mind. This is a journey where at best people would go for Hajj, and that too very few people did. So journeys were limited at that point. Here's a man who sets off on horseback, on boat, on a Lohriya cart, on all kinds of things, and he travels.
And he finds a new India in Calcutta.
He finds a new
He's
India.
impressed with, as you mentioned,
Yes.
just now with printing press,
telegraph,
electricity.
He's also impressed, by the way, by the women of Calcutta.
Aja. That's something he always loved.
Yes. He's very taken in.
He mentions in his letters and all.
He mentions it in the letters that how beautiful the women are, how sweet the mangoes are, how tasty the pan is. So all of this is there in his letters. All through that 3-year journey, he's writing letters back. So I see Ghalib, of course, as a
I'm told that he also said something or wrote a letter or something about to Sir Syed, and sort of hinting him that he should not be living in the past.
That is for a chronicle that Sir Syed had written, and Ghalib was supposed to write a foreword to that. Sir Syed is a younger man, a young Turk at that point, and he writes
a restless mind himself.
Yes, and he writes a history of the Mughals, and Ghalib is saying, stop looking back. So in that sense, I find Ghalib a very interesting modern figure. He's telling you to engage with modernity, to embrace modernity. So whether it's the technical aspect like the telegraph and the railways, which he's
printing press.
Railways haven't come, but the printing press and the telegraphs, or it is other things. It is just transport. It is going to Calcutta, seeing those fine buildings. By the way, he also had friends with a lot of the colonial officers. He saw nothing wrong
in Delhi
with supping with the devil in that sense. You know? So here's somebody who's engaging with new.
You mentioned somewhere, used the word Catholic about him.
Yeah, I see Ghalib as a Catholic person in the sense, and I use it in a completely non-denominational sense, in a non-religious sense.
Right.
A Catholic is somebody who's all-embracing, who looks at the world, who has a vision that is, all-embracing. And that's how I see Ghalib, as somebody who is willing to take in new things. At the same, and this is a very ambivalent position. Ghalib is situated at a very interesting time in history where he's still conscious of his feudal aristocratic past. He's conscious of it.
He's very proud of it at times.
He's very proud of it. He's very proud of it.
Right.
But at the same time, he's willing to negotiate with colonialism also.
Which was very difficult for a man of that age.
Yes.
Who has lost glory, who has suffered and so much.
Yes.
Can you illustrate it through some of his lovely couplets?
No, I'd rather illustrate it through this example. I would rather point out to you that had Ghalib gone for this job interview at the Delhi College here in Delhi,
famous incident, where the principal didn't come to receive him, and he didn't.
And the principal later explained to him that you had come to me seeking a job. If you had come to me at a poetry gathering, I would certainly have come to you. So Ghalib there is an ambivalence in Ghalib. There are certain things he wants because he thinks that they are for his taking. But I am saying to you, hypothetically speaking, imagine if Ghalib indeed had got that job. Would it have blunted his poet's pen?
I mean, you mean if he had a very secure salary, wife and family and good job, happy ending, and there would have been no Ghalib without a struggle, without those rise and falls.
Absolutely. I think the Ghalib that we see is a creature of hunger, of need, of wanting to reach out, of wanting the best, not always finding it, making do. So the Ghalib that we have, the Ghalib's output that we have, the man who's written all of these things,
emerges out of that struggle that Ghalib went through.
That has come to us.
That dramatic transformation of the period, and
Yes,
saw the dramatic changes in life and
yes,
times,
yes, I think
and value systems as well.
The value systems, the questioning of even religious belief and dogma.
Yeah.
All of that, I think, is coming from a man who's hungry, who's reaching out.
But whatever we may say, Ghalib is most remembered for his love poetry. How do you find him as a poet of love, and what is so special about it?
No, of course he's given us many shades of love, but
Like?
I don't see there's so much. I mean, गालिब के कोई एक या दो या तीन शेर नहीं है इश्क मोहब्बत के बारे में, but मुझे ये लगता है कि मैं तो I see Ghalib as a political poet also.
I see.
I see Ghalib as a
That's a very bold statement to make, Rakhshanda.
Why not? There are many things that you can interpret in Ghalib as political. There's so many things when he's questioning theocracy. When he's questioning
any of his poems questioning theocracy, for instance.
खुदा के वास्ते पर्दा न काबे से हटा गालिब, कहीं ऐसा ना हो वहाँ भी वही काफिर सनम निकले. So that
only Ghalib could have said in
only
1850s and
Ghalib could have
1860s.
said it. And how scared we are today to even talk of such things, let alone write such things. So I see Ghalib as a model to be emulated of being able to speak up, of being able to question many things.
How would you use, to sum up, how would you describe Ghalib in few sentences or words or something like that? With one of his couplets, I would like
I think Ghalib is somebody who is making common cause, and Ghalib is saying things that speak for all of us. I think for every poet down the ages, he's left a message when he said, "Goya wo bhi mere dil mein hai." Every poet down the ages has interpreted that to say that I could have said this. And Ghalib's words are being used by poetry lovers and by poets to mean precisely this, that I could have said this. What you are saying is actually Goya wo bhi mere dil mein hai. यानी हर शख्स के दिल की बात अगर शायर कह सकता है तो वही उसका कमाल है.
और वो Ghalib
कर रहे हैं.
Thank you so much for joining us in this program. Thank you, viewers. Ghalib is a poet of all times and would continue to be relevant, not just in 21st century, maybe much later. Thanks for joining us in this program.